what is UNISON and what kind of work do you do?
My name's Greg Thomson. I'm the head of organising for UNISON. UNISON is a trade union. We have nearly 1.3 million members. They work in public services, hospitals, local government, health, electricity. And part of my job is to deal with members who are migrant workers. Before the Brexit referendum, UNISON campaigned for the UK to remain in Europe. We thought that leaving Europe would be a disaster economically, that it would detrimentally affect workers' rights, and that workers who were here from Europe would be in difficulty. And part of the work that I've been doing since Brexit is working with workers who are here on the basis of their being EU citizens. There are about 60 to 70,000 of them in UNISON, but we believe that it's important to work with the wider community. So we've worked with groups like the 3 million who represent most of the workers who are here from outside of the UK. And part of our job has been to support them in campaigning for the rights of EU migrants. We believe all migrants deserve to be treated fairly. And the problem with the referendum, which no migrant had any vote in, is that people who came here on the understanding that they had the right to come and live and work in the UK now find that those rights are being taken away by a vote which they had no part in. That can't be fair, it's not just, it's not right.
And do you have any example of transnational solidarity practices between local workers and migrant workers?
Yes. One of the things that you have to be clear about is that the majority of our members are UK nationals, and yet there has never been a single resolution passed by a branch or anywhere where people have said anything other than that we should support our EU colleagues. And indeed there are examples in Norwich and Southampton and various places around the UK, and I include Scotland and Northern Ireland in this, where people have gone out of their way to support EU colleagues in the campaign. So when we've been campaigning for EU migrants' rights, that hasn't been just about those members of UNISON who are EU migrants. It's been about the whole union, about our British members, and about us making representations and working with other groups who support EU migrants.
And can you explain the issue of work and wage dumping from European migrants enter Brazil?
Right. The problem has always been that there are employers who will seek to exploit workers, and if those workers come here as migrants, they will seek to exploit those migrants by denying them basic rights. One reaction is to say, well, what we'll do is we'll stop migrants coming here. In other words, we'll punish the victims of exploitation. The other response is to say, you know what, it's the people that are doing the exploiting, the employers, who need to be dealt with, and that is UNISON's position. And that's what we've argued for. We've argued for the enforcement of the minimum wage, for instance, where you find that there are migrants who are working in the UK who aren't being paid the minimum wage. We've argued for them to have holiday rights, the same rights as all UK people. And what we've said is, do not focus on exploitation and say there's wage dumping or there's dumping of terms and conditions. Look at the people who are breaking the law. Deal with the lawbreakers, the employers.
Okay, and we've seen in the walls that you have some keywords printed, and it was interesting for us because we're doing this documentary about solidarity to see that you put solidarity and democracy together.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide? Why these two words are? I mean, what meaning do they have for UNISON?
Yes, maybe it's also a coincidence because
No.
Together, it is something.
It's fundamental, isn't it? Democracy is a difficult concept. Let's take what's happening in America. Okay, you have Donald Trump. He's democratically elected. Is he showing solidarity with other workers around the world? No, he's not. Democracy by itself doesn't work. Democracy goes hand in hand with solidarity, because unless you are prepared to treat all human beings as being of value and honestly and sincerely respect them and treat them with dignity, then you don't have a society that's worth living in. So solidarity is important, but it needs democracy to determine how you're going to live, and democracy tells you the standards you're going to live by, provided you have solidarity. So the two words, absolutely interlinked, absolutely fundamental, that they go together.